Support provided by Lafayette Travel, Red Stick Sports, and the U.S. Army Baton Rouge Recruiting Battalion. John Summerall started by saying he's tired of being asked about distractions, and the distractions, of course, are the fact that his name is in there for the LSU vacancy. You were telling me you don't think in these days you think it's almost impossible to not be distracted because of social media and everything else. It's going to happen.
Yeah, and even as a coach, if you're not distracted, your agent is handling whatever conversations are on the side. Kids know everything. Kids have social media. They know whether or not your name is being entered in a certain other opening position. So it takes a toll on them. It really does. As physically demanding as this game is, it's more so mentally and emotionally, especially as you get into November.
LSU had the bye week, and they needed it with all of the turmoil that has been in Baton Rouge over the last 6 days. Frank Wilson named the interim coach as they now get ready to go to Tuscaloosa next week to take on Alabama. Early this week, he spoke to the media and talked about the pride of LSU and what it means and what he expects as a Tiger.
We have a lot of season still left for us, 4 regular season games that we have to conduct our business. How will that look? And it's up to us to determine that fate. Unfortunately, sometimes in the midst of chaos, for us, fortunately, there is opportunity. And in the midst of the chaos and confusions and the whirlwind of things that has been bestowed upon us, we have opportunity. And this team will take this opportunity to be the best version of ourselves. And so for me, it's just being totally focused on capturing our football team to live in the moment.
On Friday, Verge Osbury was named interim athletic director to take over the head coaching search. Frank Wilson, interim coach, he will take care of business on the field. Scott, how can something like this rally when you know the talent, you know the money you spent on NIL, you know the #1 transfer portal class, you know talent is there. Yep. Has not been showing up for LSU, but how can this be a rally point for LSU going to Alabama next week?
I think a lot of times as players, when your coach leaves or gets fired, that he was that lightning rod for your poor play. There's no longer, Brian Kelly is no longer the lightning rod for poor play or losing games. It's now on the players. It's now on each individual guy on defense, offense, special teams. Now you guys have to go out there. You're still wearing the purple and gold. You're still recruited by LSU. You're still going to school. You have an obligation to yourself and to the fan base to put out what is expected of them every time they step out on the field.
John Summerall talked about the distractions because his name is on the list as potential new head coaches for LSU. Here's a look at the latest odds, if you will. Yes, that's all out there right now as to who might be the next candidate, the man to take over for the LSU program. I don't know if this had anything to do with the loss to UTSA, but John Summerall has dropped down Lane Kiffin, but Lane Kiffin might be #1 on everybody's list. Kelvin Shepard, LSU ties, Louisiana ties. He's currently in the NFL. There's Jeff Brom, Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri. These are all going to change. But, Scott, when you bring the conversation back for coaching overall, when you let go of Brian Kelly early and James Franklin got let go at Penn State, what has happened are schools like SMU, who just beat Miami, locked up their coach. Yep. Indiana locked up their coach. Yep. Are other schools now making moves so you can't go get them?
There's no doubt about it. I think you're seeing these other tier programs. Indiana, who Coach Cignetti's been outstanding in the short amount of time he's been there. He would have been highly coveted amongst all these big-time openings, Florida, LSU, Penn State. So all these schools know what's coming. They know the blue bloods who have open jobs are coming for their guys, and so they're locking them down, giving them huge buyouts. And so what's going to happen in college football is you're not going to be able to recycle the same old names like we've seen in college football. You're going to have to go out there and find the next up-and-coming young defensive coordinator, young offensive coordinator, the next great thing. And because in college football for so long, we've seen the same names get recycled over and over again.
And the amazing thing is that requires one word, and fans don't have it. Patience. Yeah. Bring in somebody young who can maybe develop, and we'll see. But look, there are a lot of jobs out there open right now in the SEC, the biggest of all the conferences, let alone everything else that is going to be out there. So at least now we can turn our attention to football, because next week LSU back in action. We'll see how much they can rally behind Frank Wilson when they take on Alabama. Southeastern, massive game against Lamar in the Southern Conference. So many other big ones, and we look forward to talking about them when we see you next week. Thanks so much for joining us. For Scott Shanley, I'm Victor Howell. We'll see you next week for more Game Notes on LPB.